A very good evening to you on this 11th day of April. I trust you're doing fine from wherever you're watching us from. This is Mwangaza Prime News, and my name is Daisy Paul. Our sign language interpreter is Naomi Mathu. Now, the government has moved to tighten the legislative backbone of Kenya's agricultural sector, with Agriculture and Livestock Development Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe convening a high-level meeting bringing together state agencies and the agriculture committees of both the National Assembly and Senate to align laws, policy and budget priorities towards food security and export growth.
As regards the legislative agenda that is in front of us, and that we need support from the National Assembly as well as the Senate. In addition to that, we discussed at length what we need to do in order for us to import substitute as well as increase our exports. There are certain laws, certain changes that we can expect from the Treasury that will support the agricultural sector, not just to be revived, but to be a leading pillar as it is defined in terms of the creation of employment, creation of a better balance of trade, as well as a lot more money in the pockets of our farmers. That is what we have been discussing. I am particularly grateful to both houses for the support that they have pledged to give us in order for us to make the changes that Kenyans so much expect.
The Committee on Agriculture and Livestock Development of the National Assembly been engaged in this process for the 5th time we've been here. You remember very well that our President spoke of transforming Kenya into a developed economy. And agriculture is one of the pillars that is being targeted. So the sector needs to get ready. And this is one of the initiatives I would like to thank the CS about, because he has already thought through and put together his team to start thinking of how do we move fast enough to drive the agriculture sector, which is a sector that grows, that drives growth and development in this country, and which is supporting the livelihoods of the greater majority of Kenyans, so that it occasions that transformation. Because transformation at the farmer level, transformation at the individual level, transformation at the local level is what will turn into transformation at the national level.
All in all, we aim to ensure that we strengthen our agricultural sector in the country. And something that has come up during this retreat has been the lack of funding for the education of students in agriculture. We are going to work on that as the legislature, and we are also going to lobby the Kenya young parliamentarians to make sure that our agricultural students across the country get enough, as much funding as all the other students in every other sector of development in this country. And we are going to ensure that that is achieved, because we want to make our country a producing economy, not just a consuming economy. It's important that we produce to reduce our dependence on foreign borrowing and expenditure.
Eight counties are set to benefit from a 600 million program that seeks to address the perennial shortage and high prices of feed and fodder in the dairy sector under the 4-year Transforming Yield through Feed and Fodder Access in Dairy program that is funded by Heifer International. Over 50,000 small-scale dairy farmers will benefit. This came as shrinking land, levies by counties and high taxes on materials used to produce fodder were identified as the main challenges facing dairy production in the country.
About 60 to 70% of the cost of productions for dairy farmers are related to feed and fodder. If we do not get that right, if we cannot manage the efficiencies around that, access, etc., quality, then we will continue to hear a generation of young farmers coming up resisting dairy farming because they believe it is not a profitable venture. And yet today we have everything it takes We have institutions like Harrow available through the research and technical support that they continue to provide. We have other institutions in this room, ILRI as well, valuable partners who have shaped how farmers engage. And now across dairy producing regions, farmers face seasonal feed shortages, high feed costs, limited access to storage, mechanization and finance, and fragmented markets with weak coordination. Feed alone costs accounts for 60 to 80% of total dairy production costs, making it the single largest cost driver for farmers. Many farmers have given up on dairy farming purely on this basis. The inconsistencies of supplies, the cost of supplies.
A significant feed and fodder deficit still persists. As a country, we are experiencing 60% of the national requirements. This gap remains one of the greatest constraints to achieving optimal dairy productivity. Equally concerning is the high level of the post-harvest losses, estimated to up to 45% of the feed and fodder produced. These losses arise from poor harvesting practices, inadequate storage infrastructure, limited adoption of the conservation technologies, and weak market systems. Addressing these twin challenges, the production deficit and the post-harvest losses, therefore, be central to our interventions. By improving both production and conservation, we can significantly increase the feed availability without necessarily increasing the production acreage.
In terms of forage research, remember I talked about the high energy and high protein. So this is just a snapshot. We are talking about the Napier, and in this, in the demo farm, we have a Napier desmodium intercrop. We are talking about the sorghum, that is for the low altitude areas. We are talking about the sweet potato vines, and also we are talking about Lucerne as one of the high protein yielding forages.
Our land is shrinking, our population is increasing. Our pastoral nomadic life, which we enjoy with the chief guests, is no longer viable because of the increase in population and because of farms being fenced off. So pastoral nomadic life is no longer viable, and I think what you are introducing is something that will assist all of us. So I can make a commitment that I will be your ambassador, not only in Narok, not in Kenya, but in the whole of East Africa region.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has urged African countries to study and adopt Kenya's affordable housing program, saying the initiative is a practical model that is already transforming urban living standards across the country. And speaking during the closing ceremony of the second Africa Urban Forum held at Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi, Professor Kindiki said Kenya had made significant progress in addressing housing challenges through deliberate policy action and political will.
We have mobilized and signed contracts so far worth an equivalent of $5 billion without mentioning the contracts that are in the pipeline. $5 billion contracts already signed. Kenyan contractors, we have 800 contractors, 799 are Kenyan contractors. And the story continues. Kenya's affordable housing program will continue. And we hope, under the leadership of President Ruto, we will be able to caution the program and the policy from what has bedeviled many good policies in the developing world the challenge with the developing world is policy disruption, where a program like this, after 5, 10, 15 years is disrupted without any economic sense, just because of a new political dispensation. And we are praying this program becomes perpetual here in Kenya. We are speaking from the 2 years of experience that we've had, and we are not giving our model as finished work. As I said at the beginning, we are giving it as work in progress, and we are inviting all our brothers and sisters in the continent to see what you can learn from ours, adapt and improve, as we also seek to learn from your own models in your own beautiful countries.
We have reflected on a more practical and scaled approach to informal settlements through upgrading, service provision, and tenure security. We have further deliberated on the need for stronger focus on urban economies, particularly markets and small-scale enterprises, both the women and youth livelihoods, as well as the growing urgency of embedding climate resilience into planning, investment, and investment decisions. We have underscored the importance of strengthening delivery systems, including project preparation, coordination across levels of government, and financing frameworks that can support implementation at scale. No doubt, therefore, Your Excellency, when taken together, these discussions will provide us all a practical foundation for shaping the next phase of Africa's urban transition.
We are now taking a short commercial breather, but don't go far. We are coming back with more in a short while.
Unatazama Mwangaza TV, tumaini lako.
Welcome back. Now, more than 920 youths from Meru County have benefited from the Meru Youth Service Program under the leadership of Meru Governor Isaac Mutuma. According to the Director of Meru Youth Service, Edwin Murangeri, young people are expected to join technical colleges after completing their training so that they can study courses that will help them be independent in life.
Imeweza kusaidia. Hii program ilitengenezwa ikiwa ya kuempower vijana ama kufanya vijana wawache kuwa vijana ambao wame lose hope kimaisha, waweze kuwa ni vijana ambao wanajisaidia. Mtu akiamka asubuhi anaamka akijua anaenda kufanya nini. Hiyo ndio the core objective ya hii program ya Meru Youth Service. Na kwa hivyo hata ukiangalia ile kazi ambayo tunawafanyia, discipline training ambayo tunawapeleka, na hii maneno tunafanya ya kuenda community service, ni ndio tunawafanyia kama teaser. Ukiamka asubuhi siku yako unafaa uamke, uoge, ungarisha mahali pale ambapo unakaa, alafu kisha uende kazi. Kama saa hii wanaenda kazi kila siku na watakuwa wanalipwa shilingi 500 per day kwa ile kazi yote wamefanya kwa siku 37 zenye watakaa kwa kazi. Kwa hivyo ni kumaanisha ya kwamba ni kama unawafanyia orientation, kazi itakuwa namna gani. Ndio sasa hata wakienda shule already picha ishakuja kwa akili yao vile watakuwa, lakini ni vile hawakuwa na course ama certificate ama skill. So sasa hii unakuja ndio upate certificate, kwa sababu wakati mwingine utapata kama zile kazi zinatokea za kwenda kazi majuu, wanauliza uko na nini, unaoneshana ya kwamba wewe umehitimu hiyo course yenye unasema uko nayo. So sasa hii ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba hao vijana wote wako na certificate ambayo wanaweza onyesha kama evidence ya ile kazi ambayo wamesomea.
Nashukuru sana gavana yetu kwa kuleta umulani, kwa maana umesaidia vijana wengi.
Kwangu kosi ambayo niko nayo ambayo nimepanga kufanya plant operator, na ambayo nitaifanya na nashukuru kwa sababu ya mafundisho haya ama training hii. Ni training ambayo inaweza rekebisha mtu, training ambayo inaweza ikafunza, na zaidi unaweza pata kitu ambayo inaweza kusaidia kimaisha hapa.
Mimi mradi imenisaidia sana. Cha kwanza nilikuwa mtu kijana mzuri, nilikuwa mtu wa madrugs, pombe, sigara na bangi. Lakini tangu niingie, hii mradi imefanya nikajua hata my future. Sikuwa na future kabisa sababu sikuwa na kazi. Na hata sikuwa na skill yote, nilikuwa mimi mtu wa hapa na kule natafuta na kula. Lakini saa hii nashukuru governor, nashukuru Meru County, nashukuru pia my CEO kwa kutuleta pamoja, na nimejua maneno mingi sana. Naahidi mimi na vijana wengine wetu tutasonga mbele pamoja.
Narok Central Police are in hot pursuit of a gas supplies canter driver on the run after he ran over Francis Getao Njoroge, a 69-year-old, to death on the spot and then disappeared. According to Central Narok OCPD Benson Pamba, after the heartbreaking incident that happened today in London Estate, the suspect reported to the police over a phone call and then disappeared without a trace. But the police arrived and started investigations on the incident.
But concerning today's incident, it was reported by the driver, Mr. Stephen Mwinde, that while driving an Isuzu lorry KCL 167J from Majengo direction within Narok Township, heading to the Narok CBD, and he was distributing gas. And on reaching at the position of the accident, while negotiating the corner, he knocked down one pedestrian, Francis Getao Njoroge, who was confirmed to be aged 69 years, and he died instantly on the spot.
Ndugu yetu ameamuka kama kawaida kwenda kutafuta riziki, lakini kwa sababu ya overspeeding ya madriver wetu akapata kupoteza maisha yake hapa. Na tungeomba wakati huu vile shule imefungwa, at least tuongezewe bumps, na madriver wanapoendesha pikipiki, magari, wakuwe waangalifu.
Ningeomba hata bump ziweze kuongezewa mahali hapa. Sasa mimi nataka nihimize waendeshaji magari, naomba kwa heshima kubwa waweze kuchunga mali na kuchunga maisha ya watoto sana sana wakati huu shule hivi.
Tumekuwa naye asubuhi akabai maandazi na akaniambia anaenda kuleta makaa. Sasa baadaye ndio nikasikia amegongewa hapa. Wajaribu vile watatengeneza hapa, kwa sababu kuna wakati kuna mtoto wa pastor aligongewa hapa. Na tena leo ni hii. Sasa next itakuwa nani?
Inspector Otieno Nyapara rushed to the scene, and after documentation of the scene, the body was moved to the mortuary at Narok Sub-County Hospital, pending postmortem, and the lorry plus the consignment was stored to Narok Police Station Yard.
That report from Narok brings us to the end of this program. Many thanks for staying with us, and thank you to the team behind the scenes for making it a success. My name is Daisy Paul, and Naomi Madhu is our sign language interpreter. On behalf of the entire team, we wish you a good night.